Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. There's been a divine rearrangement happening behind the scenes of your life. You may not fully see it yet, but heaven has been shifting things, people, places, and even priorities, to align you with destiny. The very ones who doubted you, who laughed when you fell, who celebrated your struggle, they're about to witness the greatest comeback heaven ever scripted. God is not just blessing you in private anymore, He's preparing to make your transformation visible, undeniable, and unforgettable. What once looked like defeat will soon look like divine design. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content, it's a divine confirmation for the chosen ones. And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been supporting through Super Thanks. May God bless you richly. Your presence, your faith, and your support do not go unnoticed. Heaven sees every seed you've sown. If your spirit connects with this word, type 77 in the comments. That number isn't random, it's a divine signal that you're ready. Ready for the shift. Ready for God to rearrange your life right in front of your enemies. Not everyone will make it to the end of this message, only the truly chosen will, because this isn't just another video, it's revelation. God is about to reveal why certain things had to fall apart and why certain people had to leave. This isn't something you hear once and forget. It's a living word, alive and unfolding piece by piece. Watch it again whenever your spirit leads you, because each time, another layer of divine truth will rise. By the time this process is complete, even your enemies will have to say, surely the hand of God was on their life. Let's begin. Chapter 1, The Silent Shift. Chosen one, before God makes anything public, He always moves in silence. You've probably noticed that things around you have been changing, people distancing, opportunities drying up, and old passions no longer fitting your spirit. What once felt stable now feels strange, and what used to excite you no longer brings peace. This isn't confusion, it's divine transition. God is rearranging your entire life from the inside out. He's quietly aligning your steps to match the next level of your purpose. When God is about to elevate you, He doesn't broadcast it, He conceals it. Heaven doesn't make noise during construction. While you thought everything was falling apart, God was actually putting things into perfect alignment. The silence, the isolation, the stillness, all of it was heaven's workshop. You weren't being ignored, you were being incubated. God hides growth so that your enemies can't tamper with it. He hides transformation so the wrong people won't claim credit for it. Every quiet moment carried a spiritual assignment. The stillness was your training ground. You learned to hear His voice without noise, to walk by faith without evidence, and to trust divine timing when everything looked delayed. What you called waiting, heaven called preparation. What you called loneliness, heaven called intimacy. In that secret place, God was teaching you how to discern His whispers over the world's noise. Chosen one, understand this, when heaven begins to rearrange your life, it rarely looks pretty. It feels like loss, but it's actually liberation. You had to lose certain people to gain your peace. You had to walk away from old circles to step into your calling. You had to release control so that divine order could take its place. God had to clear your path so nothing would compete with His plan. And here's the mystery, while your enemies celebrated your silence, heaven was writing your comeback. God allowed them to think you were finished because He needed their absence to reveal His presence. The pit was never punishment, it was protection. You were being repositioned while they were underestimating you. So don't mourn the movement. Don't panic in the pause. You're not stuck, you're being strategically staged for a divine unveiling. The silence is not God's absence, it's His architecture. He's building something that can't be rushed, something that can't be stolen, something that can't be faked. Chosen one, what you're feeling is not the end, it's the rearrangement before your eyes. The very things that were removed were actually making room. Heaven has been shifting everything into divine sequence, and soon the world will see what God was silently constructing. Stay anchored, stay alert, and stay faithful, because the silent shift is heaven's loudest sign that your breakthrough is already in motion. Chapter 2, Divine Disruptions. Chosen one, every great move of God begins with a divine disruption. These are the sacred interruptions, the sudden shifts that break your comfort so you can find your calling. You had plans, routines, and expectations. You thought you knew how your life would unfold. But then, out of nowhere, everything shifted. The job ended. The relationship broke. The path that once felt clear suddenly became foggy. It wasn't chaos, it was heaven intervening. When you belong to God, disruption isn't destruction, it's divine direction. You see, God's purpose often starts where your plans fall apart. When things collapse, it's not because you failed, it's because the foundation was too small for what He's building. He'll allow a door to close because He knows it leads to limitation. He'll shake what's unstable so that only what's eternal can remain. The disappointment that broke your heart was actually the hand of God steering your destiny. You weren't being rejected, you were being redirected. Think of Joseph. His brothers threw him into a pit, thinking they'd ended his story. But that very betrayal became the vehicle that carried him into Egypt, the place of his purpose. That's how God works with the chosen. What looks like loss is often leverage. What feels like an ending is usually an introduction to something divine. The divine disruption is God saying, "You've outgrown this chapter, it's time for the next." Chosen one, you may be standing in the ruins of what you thought your life would be, but heaven is already drawing blueprints for what it's about to become. Every person who walked away, every plan that failed, every closed door, it was strategic. God was pruning your life, not punishing it. He removed what was comfortable to reveal what was eternal. He stripped away what was temporary so He could anchor you in what's divine. Understand this. Divine disruptions always precede divine displays. Before resurrection, there must be crucifixion. Before elevation, there must be separation. Before manifestation, there must be transformation. The same storm that tried to sink your boat was the very thing God used to reveal His power. He didn't let the winds come to destroy you, He let them come to deliver you into a deeper dimension of faith. And sometimes, divine disruption doesn't come as loss, it comes as calling. You start to feel pulled away from old circles, detached from certain environments, and uninterested in what once fed your soul. That's the Spirit detaching you from lesser versions of yourself. You're being repositioned for royal territory. God is saying, you can't live in Egypt if your throne is in Canaan. Chosen one, you must learn to trust divine interruptions. Stop trying to fix what God is trying to finish. Don't mourn the things He removed, celebrate the space He's making. Divine disruption isn't the end of your story, it's the divine editing process. God is cutting out what doesn't serve the script of your destiny. So instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" start asking, "What is heaven rearranging?" Because the shaking isn't punishment, it's positioning. You are being moved into divine order. And though it feels uncomfortable, it's necessary. The breaking was for birthing. The loss was for lifting. And soon, what once felt like a painful interruption will make perfect sense, because divine disruption always leads to divine demonstration. Chapter 3, Tables Turning in Silence. Chosen one, while you've been silent, heaven has been strategic. Don't mistake stillness for stagnation. God has been working behind the scenes, shifting the entire landscape of your life. You may not see the evidence yet, but the atmosphere around you is changing, the tables are turning quietly, divinely, and irreversibly. What once looked like loss is about to look like leverage. What once felt like delay is about to become destiny. The reason you haven't heard any noise is because God works best in the background. When He wants to surprise your enemies, He moves in stealth. While they're still gossiping about your past, heaven is already writing your future. While they're busy underestimating you, God is setting the stage for your unveiling. Every silent season was sacred preparation for a public revelation. You may have felt forgotten, but you are being fortified. Chosen one, you've been tested in obscurity because your reward will come with exposure. The people who left you in your lowest moments will have front row seats to your rise. Not for your ego, but for God's evidence. He's preparing a table before you in their presence so they'll know it was never luck, manipulation, or coincidence. It was divine orchestration. Your enemies will realize they weren't fighting you, they were fighting your assignment. And that's a battle they could never win. This turning of tables is not just about revenge, it's about revelation. God is revealing His justice through your journey. The same mouths that mocked you will marvel at you. The same people who ignored you will need what you carry. Those who shut doors in your face will watch God open ones they can't even touch. You won't have to lift a finger, your fruit will speak for itself. The same pit that was meant to bury you will become your platform. There's a divine reversal taking place, and it's happening quietly. Don't expect a dramatic announcement. Don't expect everyone to understand. When God rearranges your life, He doesn't need your enemy's permission. He just moves. Suddenly, the storm that was meant to destroy you will end up clearing your path. Suddenly, the pain that broke you will become your greatest testimony. You'll look around and realize that the very ground where you cried has become the stage where you shine. Chosen one, that's why God told you to stay silent. He didn't want you defending yourself in a war that He already won. He wanted your stillness to speak louder than your words. The tables are turning without your involvement, and that's the beauty of divine justice. When God does it, no one can undo it. You won't have to clap back, your elevation will speak for you. You won't have to prove yourself, His power will prove you. Understand this, silence doesn't mean absence, it means authority. You've learned how to move without noise, how to trust without proof, how to wait without worry. That's royal behavior. That's the posture of someone who knows heaven fights their battles. You're walking into a season where everything that was meant to break you will now build you. Every weapon that was formed against you will become evidence of why God chose you. The tables are not just turning for you, they're turning through you. You are the example that God will use to demonstrate His faithfulness. Chapter 4. The Unexpected Rise. Chosen one, the rearrangement of your life isn't random. It's the setup for an unexpected rise. You may not see it yet, but God has been positioning you in silence. Every closed door, every delay, every heartbreak has been divine construction in disguise. The same path that looked like it was leading you nowhere has been rerouted toward your elevation. God specializes in rewriting stories, especially for those who have been overlooked, underestimated, and forgotten by the world. You see, when God decides to lift you, He doesn't consult anyone's opinion. Your elevation won't make sense to those who tried to label or limit you. It will seem sudden, but heaven's been working on it for a long time. You are about to rise from the very places that rejected you. The same environment that discredited you will witness your transformation. This isn't just a comeback, it's divine promotion. God is about to display His glory through the one everyone counted out. Think of Joseph. His rise didn't come through connections or comfort. It came through betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. What looked like loss was actually divine preparation. The pit was positioning. The prison was pruning. The palace was the promise. Each season was necessary to shape his character for the calling ahead. And chosen one, your story mirrors that pattern. You thought your pain delayed you, but it actually developed the strength, wisdom, and humility required for where you're going. God often hides His chosen ones in seasons of obscurity before revealing them in glory. That's why your progress seemed slow, because He was building something solid. What you thought was stagnation was spiritual foundation. He's been preparing you to handle what you once prayed for. When the time comes, you won't need to force doors open, they'll swing wide on their own. The acceleration that's coming won't follow natural order, it will be supernatural. You won't climb step by step, you'll be lifted in one divine moment. Chosen one, the rise that's coming won't be quiet. It will shock those who doubted you. The very people who once dismissed your potential will have to acknowledge your purpose. You'll be called to places you didn't even apply for. You'll be offered opportunities that others had to beg for, not because you chased favor, but because favor found you. When God rearranges your life, He breaks every rule written by man. He promotes based on purpose, not popularity. This rise will be so sudden and strategic that only God will be able to take the credit. The shift will be undeniable. Those who used to have power over you will come seeking your help. The same ones who mocked your faith will ask for your prayers. God is about to reverse every dynamic, not to humiliate your enemies, but to humble them. He's turning you into living proof that He can raise anyone from anywhere at any time. And when the elevation comes, stay grounded. Remember, the rise is not for revenge, it's for revelation. God wants your story to reflect His sovereignty. The higher He takes you, the more He'll require your humility. Because this isn't just about your success, it's about His glory. You'll stand as a walking testimony that what man meant for evil, God turned for good. Every scar, every setback, every sleepless night, all of it is about to make sense. Chapter 5. Exposure of hidden enemies. Chosen one, before every major elevation, God allows revelation. Before He blesses you publicly, He exposes hidden enemies privately. It's part of His divine protection plan. You've probably noticed lately that certain people's energy feels different. Conversations that once flowed easily now feel heavy. Some connections suddenly don't align anymore, and people you once trusted are starting to show their true motives. Don't be confused. This isn't random. This is revelation season. God is uncovering what's been concealed so that nothing toxic can travel with you into your next chapter. God loves you too much to let you walk into your destiny surrounded by hidden enemies. He sees what you don't see, hears what you don't hear, and knows what's whispered in secret. The exposure you're experiencing isn't punishment, it's protection. He's allowing people to remove themselves from your life before He promotes you. It's not rejection, it's redirection. The sudden distance, the betrayal, the gossip, all of it is divine filtering. Heaven is handpicking who gets access to the next level of your story. Chosen one, understand this, exposure comes before expansion. You prayed for elevation and God heard you. But He knows that not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. Some smiled to your face while secretly competing behind your back. Some praised your potential but prayed against your progress. That's why He's separating wheat from weeds. The closer you get to your promise, the smaller your circle becomes. It's not that you're changing, it's that your calling is. The exposure isn't meant to embarrass anyone, it's meant to enlighten you. God is showing you who truly carries your spirit and who is only there for your shine. He's bringing clarity to the blurry places. You'll start noticing small signs, conversations that reveal envy, actions that expose jealousy or silence when you succeed. Don't take it personally. God is letting you see people's hearts for what they truly are. He's removing masks before He releases miracles. And when the exposure happens, don't react, respond with wisdom. Don't waste your energy explaining or defending yourself. God is your vindicator. Your peace is your proof. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them distance themselves. The same people who once tried to discredit you will have to watch as God's favor elevates you beyond their reach. Your rise will speak louder than their rumors. The very mouths that cursed you will have to confess that you were chosen all along. Chosen one, remember, Judas was necessary for Jesus to reach the cross. Sometimes God allows betrayal to push you toward destiny. What they meant for evil, God is using for good. The exposure isn't the end, it's the beginning of a divine upgrade. You're being elevated to a level where only authenticity can survive. Every false connection, every hidden agenda, every counterfeit alliance is being stripped away so your foundation is pure. So when people walk away, let them. When secrets come out, thank God for the clarity. When truth is revealed, stand still and stay silent, because heaven is doing the talking now. You don't have to fight battles that God is already handling. Chapter 6. Public redemption. You've suffered in silence for too long, chosen one, but your quiet season is coming to a loud conclusion. Heaven has been documenting every tear, every trial, every time you chose faith over fear. And now the same world that saw you struggle is about to witness your redemption, not the pain, the promise fulfilled. This next chapter of your life won't be about what you lost, but about how God restored you beyond recognition. For years, it felt like you were stuck in a cycle of hardship, misunderstood, underestimated, and even mocked for believing when nothing made sense. But what you didn't see was that heaven was gathering every broken piece, preparing to rebuild you in public view. God allowed your breaking so he could bless you before the same audience that once doubted you. Just as Joseph was elevated in the same land where he was imprisoned, you're about to rise in the same environment where you were rejected. Your story will become living proof that divine reversals are real. Chosen one, this season isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. God is revealing the why behind your waiting. Every delay had a purpose. Every disappointment was a setup, and every tear watered the soil of your next blessing. You see, when God rearranges your life, he doesn't just restore what was lost, he multiplies it. Restoration is the floor, overflow is the promise. You won't return to the same level you left. You're stepping into a divine upgrade. The humiliation you endured will become your highest honor. The same people who whispered about your downfall will have to witness your rise. They saw your struggle, now they'll see your strength. They laughed at your faith, now they'll marvel at your favor. What once disqualified you is now the very thing God is using to display his glory. He's turning your scars into signs and your wounds into wisdom. You'll no longer have to explain yourself, your elevation will speak louder than words. This public redemption isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving God right. He promised that he would prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies, and that's exactly what's happening. Every seat at your table is being reserved by divine order. The same stage where you once faced shame will now host your celebration. Heaven has already written your victory speech. All you have to do is show up in faith. People will soon ask, how did you make it through? And you'll smile, not out of pride, but out of peace, because you'll know the truth. It wasn't my power, it was his plan. You'll look back at the pain that once broke you and realize it built the platform for your purpose. You'll see how God rearranged everything, the timing, the trials, the tears, to bring you to this moment. Chosen one, your life is about to become a public testimony, not just of restoration, but of redemption. Every chapter that once embarrassed you will now empower someone else. The pain you endured privately is about to be transformed into a public display of divine favor. Heaven is rewriting your narrative while your enemies watch. Not to shame them, but to show them that when God is for you, no one can stand against you. Get ready to walk in rooms where your name was once rejected, and be honored. Chapter 7. Walk in your new alignment. Chosen one, now that God has rearranged your life, it's time to walk boldly in your new alignment. This is not the same you that entered the storm. This is the version heaven was preparing all along. The shaking didn't destroy you, it refined you. The wilderness didn't break you, it birthed you. You've been purified in fire, processed in silence, and positioned through pain. You are now walking in divine rhythm, aligned with heaven's perfect order. Understand this, God didn't just change your situation, he changed your spirit. He had to shift your perspective before he could shift your position. You see, before the blessing comes alignment. You couldn't walk into the palace thinking like a prisoner. You couldn't step into purpose carrying the weight of your past. So God stripped you of everything that couldn't stay, the fear, the doubt, the dependence on others' validation. He had to clear your vision so you could see what he's been preparing for you all along. You've learned priceless lessons through the shaking. You've learned to depend on God's voice over people's opinions. You've learned that closed doors are not rejection, they're redirection. You've learned that delay is not denial, it's divine timing in disguise. Every unanswered prayer taught you patience. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every season of silence taught you to hear heaven more clearly. You are no longer reactive, you are responsive. You no longer panic, you perceive. You've matured into spiritual awareness. Chosen one, now it's time to walk in confidence. You don't need to explain your rise, the evidence will speak for itself. Those who doubted you will soon realize that your silence was strategy. You are not walking with arrogance, but with assurance, the assurance that the same God who guided you through the valley will sustain you on the mountain. Walk tall. Move intentionally. Speak with authority. You've been given a divine assignment, and heaven has already endorsed your next move. The same enemies who plotted your downfall are about to witness your elevation. But this time, you won't even need to address them. God Himself will prepare the table in their presence. They will see you seated where they said you'd never stand. They'll see you shining in the same place they tried to dim your light. But don't allow pride to enter your palace. Stay humble in your victory. Remember, the rearrangement wasn't just for your promotion, it was for God's glorification. The victory may be public, but the glory belongs to Him alone.